Okay, this is our Is It Really That Deep segment. So we asked our listeners and audience if they had any hot takes about the film. So we're going to go through one of those that we received and let you know what we think about it. The first comment is from Janice. Janice says he really enjoyed the film, but we're really interested in what he said about his predictions for the Academy Awards. He says, my prediction is that the film will emerge as one of the major winners at the Academy Awards, with victories in several categories, including Best Actor, Best Actress, possibly Best Supporting Actor or Actress, Best Cinematography, Best Sound, Best Adapted Screenplay, and Best Director. You're the resident Oscars predictions queen. Tell us what you think.
I'm raising my eyebrows at some of these categories from like a personal standpoint, but from like an industry standpoint, I don't think it's actually that off in terms of definitely nominations, because
Mm-hmm.
we're now more than halfway into this year, and there's no major film yet that has emerged as a very serious Academy contender. Dune 3, I think, might become that.
You're gonna piss the people off. You know that those people like Project Hail Mary.
Please be serious. Please be
Whether
fucking
you
for
like
real.
it or not, people like that film. I don't
I
as
even
either,
thought you were
but
going to say something, some more interesting niche indie thing, and then you tell me Project Hail Mary.
Project Hail Mary.
Let's be serious. If it's between the Odyssey and Project Hail Mary, the Odyssey is going to outdo it. Now, Dune 3 could be like the blockbuster that 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 like blocks the Odyssey, depending on how well
Mm-hmm.
it's received. I think it's going to be received pretty well, but the Academy in the past hasn't rewarded Denny yet and hasn't given an Oscar to Timothy Chalamet. But I do think the narrative
Mm-hmm.
that is building around Dune 3 is that like this is one that everybody is very seriously anticipating as the final part of the story. So in the war of the blockbuster epics, I think there's going to be a bit of an Odyssey Dune 3 face off.
Yeah,
The
for
other
sure.
big blockbusters that are coming out, Avengers, nobody's going to care about that. Disclosure Day was not a serious film. Supergirl, Spider-Man, they're not going to be serious critical favorites. Werewolf, I
Oh
think they snubbed
yeah.
Robert Eggers last time, but this one could potentially, depending on how it's received,
Mm-hmm.
could also be an interesting conversation. And then there's also the smaller films that are getting lots of attention, like The Invite and things like that. But
Fjord as well, I
I don't,
think.
yeah, Fjord, exactly. There's also the Cannes films and the festival films. There
Yeah.
might also even be some love for like these surprise YouTube films like Backrooms and things like that. Especially
Obsession for sure.
if not for wins, but definitely maybe for nominations, especially in the technical department. But
Yeah.
in terms of the big films and the big categories, Nolan, expect him to sweep the nomination. This film has been received much better by critics than it has been received by you and me. And I hate to pat myself on the shoulder. But I did say that we are probably going to get this reaction leading with the formal critics, in that they will be so very much gagged by the
Yeah.
technical prowess of this film that they would not be able to focus on the storytelling
Critiquing.
problems,
Mm-hmm.
yes, that's going on with Nolan. For the specific categories this guy said, he said best actor. I'm guessing he means lead actor. I do think Matt Damon is going to get a nomination, not because his performance is the greatest we've ever seen, but because I don't think there's actually that much competition. Timothy is almost certainly going to get a Dune 3 nomination as well. But nobody from Disclosure Day is getting a nomination. Robert Pattinson might get a nomination
Mm-hmm.
for his To Catch a Predator film, and maybe even from the drama, but I don't think there's that much competition that they're going to push Matt Damon away. And a lot of critics are saying, and I do mostly agree with them, that this is, believe it or not, this is no Matt Damon's most like serious actor performance in a big film. Matt
I
Damon,
can actually agree with that.
yeah, Matt Damon is like
Yeah.
usually very much like a popcorn action hero
Yeah.
guy. I like him in Martian a lot, but I think critics were quite impressed by his performance for his standards. So I see him getting a nomination. Best actress, yeah, I think Anne Hathaway is going to get a
Mm-hmm.
nomination as
For
well.
sure.
Critics like it a lot. It's a very like Oscar-y performance, especially that scene
Mm-hmm.
where she's screaming at Tom Holland, saying,
I want
"I don't want
Odysseus.
you. I want Odysseus." And bless his heart, she's throwing a Serena Williams volley at Tom Holland, and Tom Holland just
I
cannot
know.
keep
He
up.
can't
He
do
can't.
it.
He cannot do it. He's just like
He's the embodiment of Telemachus, but in real life.
He's just looking. He doesn't know what to do. I was
Gosh.
just like, oh, honey. And the thing is, Anne Hathaway is a good actress, but Anne Hathaway is not even Meryl Streep.
Yeah.
She's not Anthony Hopkins. She's not
Mm-hmm.
Denzel. If you can't keep up with Anne Hathaway, what hope do you have? Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
so I think she can get a nomination. I think Samantha Morton, if the studio, if Universal really pushes for her, which I think they
She
will,
needs to
she's
get
going to
Best
get a
Supporting
supporting
Actress.
actress
Come
nomination.
on.
She might even win it.
She needs to win.
Yeah. Best supporting actor, maybe John Bernthal.
No, stop the nonsense.
I'm
Do you
not
know what? You're gonna hate me.
Maybe John Leguizamo.
I'm just a girl, okay? Let me defend Benny Safdie real quick.
If you say Benny Safdie, DP,
Let me just defend it real quick. Because on the surface, you're like, okay, the armor's doing all the hard work. Yeah, kind of. But think about it. There's some physical acting that's really important there. He could have done it anyhow. But he's part of the reason why Agamemnon has so much aura.
D, you're weak at the knees. Get up. Stand up. Benny Safdie's performance in Oppenheimer is even more serious than whatever is going on in this film. You need to be serious. Best cinematography, I mean, Nolan, that's good. He's going to get that nomination sure. No matter what. And the cinematography, in terms of the scale and the epicness of this film, I thought looked beautiful in IMAX. Now, I watched this film with a filmmaker who was watching the technicals of how this film looks as a film that was shot entirely in IMAX with a very critical eye. And he was dragging... So with filming in IMAX on IMAX cameras... Okay, so you clocked it as well. Filming in IMAX, first of all, you can only shoot for 3 minutes at a time because the machine just, I guess, gets overwhelmed. So that's why you have some weird editing and cuts. And another thing is that because of how the, I believe, depth of field and the scale and what initially IMAX cameras were designed to shoot are, it is actually quite tricky to capture people in focus properly when they're close in this film. And you see that happen several times in this film, including in very important consequential scenes where an actor goes out of focus. And for a film of this scale, of this budget, of this level of scrutiny, something that looks so amateur shouldn't be happening. And we had a conversation about it, and I think the conclusion was just that they decided that because of how much Nolan wanted to be able to say that we filmed this whole thing in IMAX, they were willing to sacrifice the focus level of the filming, even in such crucial scenes. I think they said they shot 2 million feet of film for this. And they only used 52,000 for the final. So they discarded literally over 1 million feet of film. And these shots, including the blurry ones, are the best of them. So you can only imagine how many technical problems they were having. I've seen some people argue that this is why you actually just fundamentally should not shoot only on IMAX at the position the technology currently is at. It's just not where it's supposed to be.
Like, this is Christopher Nolan's hubris. This is his own hubris. And like another point on the cinematography is another reason why I never really got immersed in this film is that I understand that Odysseus is going into all of these different territories and different worlds, right? And they're naturally going to look different. But there's no defining visual language that takes me through the film. And this means that I don't feel like I'm in a cohesive project. It feels like I'm going through different segments. I'm literally like, okay, this is the Cersei segment. Okay, this is the Underworld segment.
Someone literally said that to me too. It's like a combination of scenes and set pieces. Yeah, but this is
it didn't immerse me. I felt immersed in Inception.
You know, I'm an Inception hater, so I don't know. I can't really speak on that.
I will add to this comment, actually, Janice's comment, and say that I would like to see a nomination for Best Editing, because I literally watched this film Saturday and Sunday, back to back. I never felt tired. I could even watch it again tomorrow.
Yes.
And that's because of the editing.
Yeah. It's edited
not perfect, but it's edited well.
And it's a woman that edited it.
Yes, I'm aware.
It's edited well. And I think, again, it's a very Nolan-esque thing to show you the point I'm going to make at the end of the film by showing you shots of it at the beginning and throughout the film with the Athena head. I actually like the way it was done. And sometimes the cutting was like very like, but yet it still kind of compelled me. And you are very right that this film does not feel like an exhausting watch at any point. And that is not easy to do with a 3-hour running time.
Not at all.
Okay, this person also says best sound. Let's talk about sound and score. Sound, people always complain Nolan films are too noisy. Me, I had an excellent
no problem
with this film. So I liked the volume. I liked everything. Yeah. He has controlled it a lot better than the disastrous days of Tenet and not being able to hear Bane in The Dark Knight Rises. For the score, Ludwig has already won like 2 or 3 Oscars. He would definitely be nominated again this time.
I
As a
need him to
person that
win.
worships the Interstellar score, to me, I wasn't gagged.
Let me tell you why I like the score. So Nolan was actually really specific with his brief. He told Ludwig that he doesn't want him to use like a traditional orchestra because that's obviously too modern, right? So this is one of the ways that he's actually,
Instruments
yeah,
that
he's actually
existed
like
then.
respecting the Greek elements of the film for
Oh,
the
why did he
score.
care about that for the music and nothing else? That's so strange.
I understand that point and I agree with it. But I'm like, listen, let's let the Greeks take the small crumbs, please. And I think that Ludwig does something really special, and that there are times when the score really swells and it brings me into it. And I think
Yes.
the strongest example of that is the actual initial sacking of Troy. Again, the score is part of the reason why Agamemnon has so much aura as well.
Oh my
But like,
god, D.
even if you take that out of it, I don't know. I don't even know what instruments they're using, but there's something about it that feels really trippy and like hypnotic. And even though, bear in mind, I'm very pro Trojan. I'm on the sides of the Trojans, but there's something about the music and the way how it like hypnotizes me that I feel like yes, I want them to go and sack Troy as well. I'm literally on the side of the Greeks, and so I think that's it worked really really well for me.
I think the sacking of Troy music, I agree that works. And I also said one of my favorite scenes is when Odysseus holds on to the raft and heads home
Really?
finally. I
Okay.
think where
Yes.
the music drops in that scene and it swells and it feels triumphant,
Mm-hmm.
it felt like what I was seeing was being exactly represented in the
In the
music. Like they
music.
felt so
Mm-hmm.
perfectly married to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And the Odysseus theme, the song called Odysseus he made, I like it. But the rest of the film just felt nondescript for me in terms of sound.
I understand
Whereas
that. Mm-hmm.
with Sinners, for example, which he also did, everything about the sound is so seductive to me at
Mm-hmm.
every second of that film. And then for
Mm-hmm.
Interstellar, which is Hans Zimmer that did that one, even though I heard that the reason he didn't
Mm-hmm.
do this is because he's not a big fan of trans people, allegedly. Um,
Oh, really?
I
That's
don't know if it's actually
disappointing.
I don't know if it's actually true. Probably Nolan already wanted to go with Ludwig anyway, and people are just connecting the dots. I
Mm.
don't know if it's actually true, but Hans Zimmer's Interstellar score to me brings me to tears every time I listen to it. Like I don't know. It's just everything to me. So this
Mm-hmm.
didn't even feel close to that. Then
That's
with
fair.
Oppenheimer, the score is not so much the musicality of it, but like the 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 feeling of like everybody talks about the sound design of Oppenheimer for a reason. The
Yeah.
sound design of Oppenheimer is insane when you're watching it in the cinema. The score is much less exciting to me.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the film, when the credits start rolling, James Blake and Travis Scott start singing. How did you feel about that?
Oh hell no! I was so pissed. I was like, let me hold on, let me walk out of the cinema even faster. Because bear in mind, I didn't love this movie. So yeah, when I realized that, wait, hold on, this is Travis Scott. I was like, no. But very quickly, let me say one thing about Travis Scott. I was thinking, why did he cast Travis Scott? And then I realized that so much of this film is about guilt. And I was like, is that what's going on here? Is
Oh,
this
do
a
you
reference to the
mean with the
Astroworld
Astro
stuff?
World tragedy? And I think the number of
Maybe.
people that died in Astroworld is very similar to the number of people that were killed in the Aurora Dark Knight shootings.
It crossed my mind. It crossed my mind.
D, is it really that deep? This person also said best adapted screenplay. I mean, he'll probably just
Yeah,
get
for sure.
nominated anyway, but like,
Yeah.
does it deserve to be? I'm not sure. Best director, he will get nominated. He probably will win if
I don't
Denny
think he
doesn't blow
should.
everybody away Dune 3. I don't know, but if you think about it, D, we've just talked about the fact that we watched a 3 hour film
Mm.
and we were entertained thoroughly. In your case, you watched it back to back 2 days. If I had the chance, I'd have watched it the same night actually, or the day
Mm-hmm.
after.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people cannot do that.
Agree. I just think about the role of the director, right? So much of that is limited by resources and stuff like that, right? And if I'm being honest, there are certain films I watched this year that had significantly low budgets, significantly more constraints, less talent, and were far more enjoyable for me. And like I understand the big draw for this film is the fact that oh, it's the only film that was completely shot on IMAX, blah blah blah. Okay, fair enough, it's a good technical accomplishment, but for me as a cinema goer, as a cinephile, someone who loves film, I can't just award you best director when you created a project of this scale, because you should create a project of this scale.
Yeah, you have
You know.
infinite resources almost. But yeah, this was a great comment. Just a call out to people, especially when big films are coming. Feel free to like drop it in our comments, your thoughts, if you've already watched it or what you think going in, and we just might unpack them in our next segment.